With this story, the ANC has confirmed that its spokespersons, Pule Mabe and Zizi Kodwa, have voluntarily stepped aside pending investigations into sexual misconduct allegations. The party held a media briefing to state its position. Secretary General Ace Magashule says the ANC is committed to fighting gender-based violence. eNCA's Aldrin Sampear was at the briefing earlier and joins us now live to talk to us some more about it. So, Aldrin, there was the media briefing by the ANC Secretary General, and the message coming out of that was that they've both stepped aside, including Pule Mabe, whose processes of investigation have concluded, but he was commended and he was said to have shown good leadership by saying that he wants to step aside. Then you had a conversation with Pule Mabe himself where he's talking about study leave. Are you any clear as to the mechanics around which we find ourselves in a position where Pule Mabe doesn't speak for the ANC and neither does Zizi Kodwa?
Well, what we can confirm and what is clear now is both Zizi Kodwa as well as Pule Mabe are not speaking on behalf of the ANC, so they are not spokespeople of the ANC, although it may seem as though that the reasons behind that final decision would be different. It differs. At least from Zizi Kodwa's side, according to the Secretary General of the ANC this morning, he had indicated that he will be stepping aside voluntarily while there's a conclusion or investigation into these allegations of rape against him. While on the other side, although these two issues were clamped together in the press briefing, when we spoke to Pule Mabe, he indicated that no, he's actually been on study leave, so he hasn't been at Lutulia House while he is on study leave, and he's also seeking counseling from his from his pastor. And what he has requested from the ANC is that his study leave be extended, and also while he is on this counseling process with his pastor, that he remains at home and he's not part of the ANC's daily day-to-day duties. And that's where this matter stands at the moment. That is the clarity, at least, that we see that we've seen coming from Pule Mabe with regards to these allegations, as well as this final decision, at least, that they're both not speaking on behalf of the ANC. And you'd remember that in the early mornings of today, we woke up to news that there was an NWC decision to suspend both of them, and Ace Magashule saying that that's not the case. They have not been suspended. They've actually just stepped aside. Pule Mabe saying that I did not step aside. But just take a listen to what Ace Magashule had to say about these allegations that both these people are facing.
They strongly feel that they have not done anything criminal. There's never been an allegation against Pule Mabe of rape. There's never been such an allegation. There has been an allegation of sexual harassment, not rape at any given stage.
But you can't call it impropriety for both of them, because it is a crime or an allegation of sexual nature against a vulnerable group in society. So when you call it impropriety, you almost compare it to like it's a corruption case. Well,
let's say there was this allegation of sexual harassment, as you want us to, and I'm sure we have been saying so. So maybe the language there we can correct it. There's no problem about it. So Pule Mabe faced that allegation of sexual harassment. There were 8 charges against them, and both parties agreed that on these 8 charges, we agree that amicably these things were not that much of an issue. The disagreement was on the issue of sexual harassment. And the lady said, if you want to go to CCMA, if you want to go to any court of law, Pule Mabe did not stand in front of that particular approach. So is Comrade Zizi Kodwa.
I'm wondering then, Aldrin, that from that media briefing, did you get any clarity in terms of the ANC moving forward with trying to finalize issues to do with this embarrassing situation where it doesn't have a sexual harassment policy that sort of lays out the guidelines of how to deal with these issues whenever they come up at Lutulia House?
And that's the difficulty, I guess, that the ANC is facing. And remember that after that the panel that had that investigation into the allegations against Pule Mabe, one of their recommendations is that the party should have a policy around issues of sexual misconduct or allegations of sexual harassment against any of the ANC's employees, or whether it be ANC members as well. And the difficulty as well, I guess, is one of the questions that I asked Ace Magashule, the Secretary General of the party, that if, according to the ANC statement, these people did not step aside, well, this is what the ANC is saying, that they stepped aside, that if they did not step aside, or if they were not removed from those positions, would they have remained in those positions? Because according to the ANC, NWC at least, they did not take any decision to suspend them. And what Dakota Lehueto, who's now the acting spokesperson, as well as Ace Magashule, seem to be agreeing on, is there was actually no reason whatsoever to suspend both of them.
All right, let's talk briefly then about your interaction with Pule Mabe. Very interesting, I found it. I mean, even the whole thing of going at length to talk about the schedule for his studies, what's coming up, what necessitated him going on study leave, in the context in which we are talking about allegations of sexual harassment. And he sort of went at length on that and talked about his interaction with his pastor. Then there was this interesting thing that he said when you asked him whether he had reached out to the woman who accuses him of sexually harassing her. What was that about?
Well, the answer that I seem to get from that is that there was no reaching out that happened. However, though, that he is prepared to reach out, and he said he's prepared to reach out to anyone. And he also made reference to people who may have done him wrong. And this is, of course, something that wisdom, I guess, that he found through his conversations as well as his counseling sessions with the pastor, that there may have been people who may have done you wrong, and you just need to probably reach out to those people. But as it stands at the moment, at least we know that he hasn't reached out to Khweran. And the other thing as well during that interview is he's also confirming that as far as it stands at the moment, that there's no investigation that he knows of relating to these allegations. There's not a criminal investigation relating to these allegations, as well as a CCMA grievance or charge that could have been laid with the CCMA as it stands at the moment. But he is prepared to stand before any tribunal or any investigation relating to this matter and at least try to clear his name. He also maintains his innocence, and that's, remember, that the first time that these allegations surfaced, he maintained that he was innocent, and I guess he was vindicated by this panel. However, though, Khweran, who has accused him of these allegations, she's saying that she's not happy with the panel's investigation and the final decision that this panel has come down to.